antlers are a popular natural chew for dogs, offering long-lasting entertainment. However, some dog owners have questions about their safety and whether they are suitable for their dog. In today's video, I'm going to cover what deer antlers are, who they're safe for, and what potential safety concerns there may be surrounding this popular chew. So what are deer antler dog chews? Deer antlers are naturally shed deer antlers from red and fallow deer. They are sold either as the full antler, so cut down to size, obviously you're not going to give your dog a full deer antler, or they split them. So they're split down the middle, showing the honeycombed interior, which makes them easier for dogs to chew. So that's your two options. Deer antlers are rich in vitamins and minerals, but it is important to choose the right type of deer antler for your dog and the right size for your dog. Are deer antlers good for dogs? Yes, they absolutely are. As your dog chews on a deer antler, they help to mechanically remove plaque and tartar buildup that may be on the teeth, particularly the split deer antlers. Because of their honeycombed interior, it acts as like a pumice stone for your dog and will help to scrape away any buildup that is on those teeth. They contain calcium and phosphorus. That's really good for your dog's health. Deer antlers are brilliant for mental enrichment and stimulation. If your dog is prone to destructive chewing behaviour, it may be better for you to refocus that behaviour onto a deer antler and taking them away from things that they shouldn't be chewing on, like table legs, skirting boards, anything they can get their hands on. Hands on? Paws on. Are deer antlers safe for puppies? Absolutely. We recommend from about 12 weeks plus, when their teeth are just that little bit stronger, their jaws are a bit stronger, they're used to chewing, they might be entering that teething phase. So again, it's about redirecting that chewing and teething behaviour to an appropriate chew. Personally, I would recommend the split deer antler for a puppy. It's just easier for them. With the full deer antler, it's quite tough on the outside. So for a puppy to try and get through that tough exterior, one, might bore them, two, potentially could hurt their teeth. As always, with anything chew related, particularly for puppies while they're learning, make sure you are supervising them with their deer antler so they're not choking or gulping or trying to get too much in their mouth at once. Once they know what they're doing with their deer antler, I feel quite confident that it's a relatively safe chew to leave with your puppy. But again, that does depend on your puppy, the size of your puppy, and as long as you've bought the most appropriate size chew. So if you've got a large breed puppy, don't buy a small split deer antler. Go for the biggest size that your puppy can manage. All these things will just help eliminate or reduce the risk of them choking or swallowing it. Are deer antlers safe for heavy or aggressive chewers? This is a tricky one. If you've got a power chewer, something like a Staffy, an XL Bully, a Rottweiler, a dog with exceptionally powerful jaws, I wouldn't be giving them a deer antler. Deer antlers are extremely hard. There's no give in that chew whatsoever. And if your large breed or power chewer dog chomps down on that deer antler, they are likely to fracture the teeth or just cause damage to themselves. So personally, I wouldn't be feeding them to a powerful jawed dog. I'd be going for something slightly different, like a lamb horn, which I'll link in the description, or a root chew, again, I'll link in the description, might be a little bit more appropriate. If you've got a big dog, but you don't class it as a power chewer, it likes to gnaw rather than actually chomping down on something, then yes, a deer antler would be absolutely fine. So what we're looking for is that gnawing behaviour rather than the crunching and chomping behaviour, because that is where the problem comes in for teeth. And that's why some people, vets, don't recommend them, because what they're seeing is the outcome of an inappropriate chew being given to the wrong sort of dog. Otherwise, powerful chewers certainly can enjoy the deer antler. The idea is with the full deer antler that they chew the exterior to get to that honeycombed interior. So whereas on the split deer antler, it's already exposed that honeycombed interior, with the full deer antler, they've actually got to work to get to it. So it can be a real source of enrichment and entertainment for your dog. Obviously, if your powerful chewer is enjoying their deer antler, make sure you take it away once it's worn down. With these chews, because they're hard chews, you don't want to be giving a tiny piece to a big dog. So once it's worn down, take it away. And always, always, always buy the biggest size that suits your dog. So for big breed dogs, go for the extra large antler. If you've got a toy dog, then a small or medium would be more appropriate. Are deer antlers safe for older or senior dogs? Do you know what? They're probably one of the better options. Again, for an older or senior dog, I would be going for the split deer antler. But with those ages of dogs, they quite often end up with the plaque and tartar build-up if their dental health isn't that great, or the plaque build-up has really begun to start and your vet's recommending a dental but you don't want to put them under a dental, then a deer antler might help to remove some of that plaque and tartar. I would be recommending the split deer antler for older or senior dogs just because they are naturally gentler chewers. They don't have that power in their jaw anymore. Also, we're wanting to get straight to that pumicy texture to try and get rid of the plaque and tartar. So the split deer antler gives them that instant option because it's there straight away. They don't have to get through that hard exterior. Can deer antlers splinter? Yes, deer antlers can potentially splinter, although they're less likely to splinter than other chews such as cooked bones or sticks that your dogs might find. The risk of a deer antler splintering depends on the quality, so who your supplier is, who the manufacturer is, what their manufacturing process is. If it's cheap, steer clear, and the age of the antler. So the older the antler is, the more likely it is to splinter. So if you're seeing antlers that are mega cheap, always question why. Deer antlers are not a cheap product. So if you're spotting something and thinking, that's really cheap and I think that's really bargainous, just don't buy it. I always say with natural dog chews, if they're too cheap, steer clear because you have no idea why they're so cheap. I know the quality of the antlers that we buy. I know where they come from. I know they're high quality, which is why they have the price tag attached to them. If they're cheap, I would be questioning the methods used to get the antlers, how old the antlers are, where they're sourced from, what the welfare of the deer is. So it's just something to bear in mind when you are shopping for any natural chews, but obviously in this case we're talking about deer antlers. Do vets recommend deer antlers? The $1 million question. Okay, so it depends on your vet. And I can see it from both sides, so I'm going to give you a balanced opinion. Vets who have seen injuries due to antlers, as we discussed earlier, if a powerful dog has chewed on antlers and cracked their tooth, broken their tooth, a vet is not going to think this is a good chew for a dog, and I completely and utterly understand, agree, and get where they're coming from. However, the majority of dogs will enjoy deer antlers with no ill effects, but a vet is always going to see the problem. They're never going to see when things go right. So a vet may have their judgment on this chew clouded by that, and I respect and understand that. However, vets, particularly within the holistic arena, will recommend deer antlers as a good alternative to dentist sticks or any kind of plastic chew that might cause harm to your dog. How long can dogs chew on antlers? Your dog can chew on its antler for as long as it likes. There is no time limit. So if your dog wants to chew on its deer antler for 3 hours, absolutely fine, leave your dog to it. As your dog chews, it releases endorphins and it makes them relax. It's mental stimulation. A lot of dogs just really enjoy it. It's quite a comfort for them. It's not going to do them any harm if they are chewing on an antler for an extended period of time. However, you may choose to let them have it for 20 minutes and then take it away. That's completely fine and it is up to you. With younger dogs or dogs that gulp, I wouldn't be leaving the deer antler with them. So if you are going out for the day, then I wouldn't leave a deer antler for your dog to have whilst you're out and about. I'd always be around in the house to supervise. Some dogs may get fed up with the deer antler after a few days or weeks of chewing it. In this case, you can refresh a deer antler. All you need to do is pop it in some water, pour boiling water over it, leave it for 10 to 15 minutes for the water to cool, take it out, pat it dry and give it to your dog. That can refresh it and create that interest again. Some dogs keep their deer antlers for months and will just keep going back to chewing on it. With them being a long-lasting chew, some dogs actually bury them. So that's just something to bear in mind. It is an exceptionally long-lasting chew. So if your dog gets frustrated with long-lasting chew, then a deer antler might not be right for them. If your dog has been chewing on their antler for a long time and it's got manky, it's worn down, it's got quite small, chuck it and get a new one. Don't run the risk of leaving a stub of a deer antler with your dog because it becomes a choking hazard. How often can you give your dog a deer antler? as often as you like. There's no time limit. So as we discussed earlier, if your dog likes to chew on the antler and they chew on it for hours and hours, that's absolutely fine. If you choose to give your dog its deer antler and take it away, you could give it a couple of times a week. Again, with things like deer antlers, lamb horns, anything that's a really durable and long-lasting chew, I rotate them for my dogs. So Reggie, for example, absolutely loves his lamb horn. But if I just leave the lamb horn out, he loses interest in it eventually. So what I tend to do is get it out one day, let him chew it, then I take it away and I'll replace it with something like a deer antler. Take that away, then I'll replace it with something like a root chew. And I tend to daily rotate their long-lasting chew toys so that they remain interested in them. So there you have it, your Deer Antler 101. I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please don't forget to like it, subscribe, and don't forget to leave me a comment. I always like hearing from dog owners about what their dogs do and don't like, whether you agree or disagree with me. So from me and Reggie, it's goodbye and we'll see you on the next one.